who have just recently joined us. This is the Allstate Sugar Bowl head coaches video conference. All your lines should be muted, but please verify on your end as well. We will start today with a brief opening statement by Nick Saban from Alabama. We'll then take questions for Coach Saban. So shortly we will start up. Coach, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today for our call, and congratulations on being selected for the Allstate Sugar Bowl.
Good. Thank you very much. We're excited about the opportunity.
We'd like to start off by asking you to make a brief opening statement, and then we'll go to questions.
Well, our team is really excited about having the opportunity to play in the Allstate Sugar Bowl against a really, really good opponent in Kansas State. They've just come off a great win to, win their conference. And, Coach Klieman has done a fantastic job there with their team. And this is certainly going to be a challenging game for us. They play great on defense. They've got two really good quarterbacks. They've got a really great running back, and there's a lot of diversity in what they do. They're a very well coached team. So, our team needs to bounce back and show that they're excited about the opportunity that we have to play against a top-notch team who's a conference champion.
Thank you very much, Coach. For the media, please indicate your desire to ask a question by raising your hand virtually. Once you're called on, you'll be invited to unmute your line and ask your question. And as a courtesy to Coach, if you could please provide your name and your media affiliation if I have not already done that when I introduce you. Our first question will come from the line of Mike Rodak from L.com.
Just in terms of what you discussed earlier today about potential opt-outs, and you can't speculate on that, between those and some of the players that have gone into the transfer portal, just where do you see the depth of your roster and some of the numbers of your roster going into this game?
Well, I think, we're going to coach the players that are there. We're going to try to coach them to do the best possible job that they can. We certainly have a great amount of appreciation and respect for the guys who are going to finish the season with the team, and we're going to do the best job that we can to help those guys, put those guys in a position where they have a chance to be successful. There'll be some opportunity for some new guys, no question, but we're looking forward to the challenge.
Next, we'll go to Kellis Robinette from the Wichita Eagle.
Yeah, Coach, you're maybe still learning about Kansas State this early on, but what are your first impressions of the Wildcats?
Well, we really haven't had an opportunity to look at them at this point. Didn't have an opportunity to watch the game yesterday, although that was an outstanding victory for them. And we have recruits in this weekend, so we're working on recruiting. So we didn't get a chance to see the game. We haven't a chance to view the film, but we have a tremendous amount of respect for their accomplishments, their players, their coach, and what they've been able to do this season.
We'll now go to Stephen Smith from Touchdown Alabama magazine.
Coach, I know that this team had an idea for the playoff and wanted to get in there, but the Sugar Bowl, how satisfying is it that you get the New Year's Six, you get the Sugar Bowl, and you're playing against a really good team?
Well, obviously there's going to be some disappointment that we didn't get in the playoffs, but, we sort of had a season that was a little bit up and down for us. We finished strong. Hopefully we can do a great job of embracing the challenge that we have playing in a classic, to me, when you're talking about the Sugar Bowl and how exciting it is to be a part of it, and that our players will embrace that and want to go do a great job of sort of having the opportunity to prove, who they are as a team.
We'll next go to Max Cohen from WAAY TV.
Coach, obviously you were campaigning pretty hard for the guys to make the playoffs. And obviously, as you just mentioned, the Sugar Bowl is still very prestigious. How much do you guys view this as an opportunity to really cap off what's been a great season, even though it's not the way you guys hoped it would be?
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's exciting. It's a challenge for us to, sort of prove against a really, really good team, what kind of team we really are. And I think our players will be excited about the challenge. It's certainly an honor for us to be in the Sugar Bowl.
We'll next go to Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury. Go ahead, Tim. If you can unmute.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
There we go. Nick, I know you hadn't had really an opportunity to catch up on this year's K-State team. This is the first time that these programs are going to be playing each other in the history of the sport. What's your impression of Kansas State as a whole from what you know?
We've always had a tremendous amount of respect for Kansas State. You know, they play with a lot of toughness. They're very well coached. They're a very disciplined team. They're ball hawkers. They attack the ball. I had a lot of respect for Coach Snyder when he was there and the great job that he did for many, many years. And, you know, Chris has certainly picked up and, you know, built, you know, what has turned out to be an outstanding team for this year.
We'll next go to Michael Casagrande from al.com.
Yeah, Nick, with bowl games, how much do you see it as an opportunity to build for the next season with players who maybe haven't seen as much playing time this season?
I think there's going to be opportunities created for the bowl game, and you know it's a good opportunity for players to look forward, not look backward, in terms of what they have a chance to accomplish, what they have a chance to do, and how we can use this time to help their development.
We'll now go to Nick Kelly from Tuscaloosa News.
Yeah, if players come to you seeking your advice for what they should do, whether to play or not play, what would be your advice to them?
I think that's a decision that every player has to make. I don't think it's up to me. I think that just about every player on our team can create value for himself by how he plays. I know when you play against good opponents that, you know, you get evaluated really strongly based on how you play against really good opponents, and we're going to be playing against a really good opponent. So this is really an opportunity for everybody on our team to create value for themselves and, you know, answer any questions that anybody might have about them.
We'll now go to Ted Lewis from the New Orleans Advocate. Ted, please.
You answered that pretty much, but players opting out for bowl games has not been a problem for you in the past. And again, like you said, you're leaving it up to them this time. How is this different an approach for you that maybe you've had in the past that you don't have the playoffs at stake? What do you hope to get out for your team to get out of it?
Well, we've had one situation like this, and I think we had two players that, you know, didn't play in that game. I think the culture and dynamic of college football right now is a lot different than it's ever been before. So I think this is much more challenging to get players to understand how they can create value by playing in a bowl game. And, you know, we said long ago that the bigger the playoffs get, the less significant the bowl games might be. And I think that's happened to some degree, but this is still a tremendous opportunity to play against a really, really good team. And got a lot to prove, you know, as a team in terms of who we are and, you know, what's the legacy of this team, how they're going to be remembered. So it's each guy's choice as to what they do. And they have a lot of choices now. Players have a lot of choices. So hopefully they'll make, you know, choices that will create value for themselves and their team and their teammates. And that's pretty much what we're going to encourage them to do.
We have time for two more questions. And once again, please use the raise your hand function on the computer to indicate your desire to ask a question. We'll go to T. Kaufman at this time. Mr. or Ms. Kaufman, please identify yourself and your media outlet before asking the question.
Hi, Coach. This is Taylor Kaufman at CBS 42 in Birmingham. Not sure if you are willing or able, or if you know, but any word on if Bryce Young or Will Anderson are going to play in this game?
You know, we have a 5 o'clock sort of little awards, you know, ceremony. Haven't had the opportunity to talk to either one of those guys yet. They participated in the workouts that we had last week, and, you know, we'll get an opportunity to talk to them at some point in time, you know, this week.
And Coach, our final question will come from Matt Trecanelli from Herb FM Sports. My apologies. Go ahead, Matt. Try now. Unmute. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Coach. So just talk about like how the season like has progressed, and just what kind of things have you noticed with the weaknesses, and how you can use that to turn those into strengths in this bowl game, given that you got a really powerful Kansas State team that you guys are going to be playing against?
Right. Well, I think every adversity creates an opportunity, and I certainly think that we had some adversity, throughout the season. I think it started when Bryce got hurt at Arkansas and didn't play in the A&M game and was not probably full strength for the next month, of the season. And, we didn't make the progress that we would have liked to made during that time. But we lost 2 really tough games on the last play of the game in both instances. And, we had opportunities in both of those games and weren't able to take advantage of it. I think our team learned a lot, from that. And I thought we played, well as a team in the last 3 games. So hopefully we can continue to build on that.
Thank you very much for your time, Coach. We really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you down here in New Orleans in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And we will next be going to Kansas State head coach Chris Klieman shortly. Once again, when you're ready to ask questions, just use the raise your hand virtually. When you're called on, you will need to unmute your line and ask your question. Coach Klieman should be joining us any minute now. Hold on for just a minute, Coach. We just got to get you set up here. You will need to unmute the line if Kenny's there with you, can do that.
We just got her done, I think.
Okay, hold on for just a minute and let me okay. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, Coach. We really appreciate it, and congratulations on being selected to play in the Allstate Sugar Bowl this year.
Appreciate that. We're excited about the opportunity.
We'd like to start off today by asking you to make a brief opening statement, and then we'll go ahead to question and answer. So please go ahead.
You bet. I'm so excited for our football team, our players, coaching staff, support staff. It's been a great year, a long year. Had some ups and downs, but guys came together, believed in each other, had great player ownership, and found a way to play really good football, especially on the road, especially late in the season, being able to get some key road wins, allowing us to stay in the race, and then played a really good TCU team in the Big 12 championship game. And it was a slugfest toe-to-toe, and found a way to get a big-time stop in the goal line stand, 3rd and 4th down, and get a first down and be able to kick a field goal to win the Big 12 championship. It was a goal of ours. It was something that I don't think a lot of people thought that K-State would be in that Big 12 championship game, let alone win it. But our guys always believed that we would and could if we continued to rise up and play to our abilities. And lo and behold, we were able to do that, and excited for the guys. And we're looking forward to coming to New Orleans for the Allstate Sugar Bowl.
Thank you very much, Coach. Once again, for the media, please indicate your desire to ask a question by raising your hand virtually. Once you're called on, you'll be invited to unmute your line and ask your question. Our first question is going to be from Ted Lewis from the New Orleans Advocate.
Yes, Coach, you talk about the excitement of coming down. Yesterday looked like such an emotional game for your team and all. Now you get to turn around and play, as Deuce talked about today on TV, one of the blue bloods of college football. Do you worry about having any problem about getting your team emotionally and physically ready to play in Alabama?
If it were this week, maybe. But we're going to get a good chunk of time where us as coaches are on the road and the guys are away from football for a little bit to be able to rejuvenate, recharge a little bit, to come back and have a couple of good weeks of preparation that I know our guys we'll be excited about. A heck of a challenge to play an awesome program like Alabama. So much respect for Coach Saban and what he's done for college football in general. And so I know that when the time comes to lock and load for the game plan and being ready to play, that our guys will be ready. But without a doubt, we need a little bit of time right now.
Our next question is from Landon Reinhardt. Mr. Reinhardt, if you could please let us know what organization you're from before your question.
This is Landon Reinhardt with KSNT 27 News in Topeka. Coach, what's it do to K-State football and Manhattan to play a traditional powerhouse like Alabama?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for our players, for starters, to be able to play a great opponent like Alabama out of the SEC. And, our league is pretty good. I think top to bottom, the Big 12 is still one of the top conferences, and proven out with TCU going to the CFP and us getting a chance to play in one of the New Year's Six Bowls in the Sugar Bowl. And so I think I know our guys, when they saw Alabama come up, they were excited about getting a chance to play one of the traditional powers for decades in college football, especially in the time that Coach Saban's been there. They've won championship after championship, and it'll be a big task for us.
We'll now go to Kellis Robinette from the Wichita Eagle.
Hey, Chris, two quick ones for you. First off, just on Alabama, what's kind of your first impressions on what they've done this season? And I also want to know if you had an update on Malik and Echo and how they're doing after yesterday.
Yeah, with regards to Alabama, obviously they had a really good year. Lost a couple games on the last possession or last play, which if not, they'd probably be in the CFP. So it's going to be a great challenge to us. We believe that Echo and Malik will be able to play in the Sugar Bowl. Obviously, if we played in the next 2 weeks, they probably wouldn't. But because we have some time, our reports would indicate that they will be available.
We'll next go to Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury. Tim, if you still have a question, Tim.
Hey, Chris, I guess I know you guys got to get home and get to kind of be presented at a halftime of the basketball game last night. Just kind of walk us through the emotions and how cool that was to be able to do that.
Yeah, it was great that our basketball team played at home against Wichita State. They got a big win. Congratulations to Coach Tang and his staff and players for a big win. It was an electric crowd, which I was so excited. Our basketball team deserves that with the start that they've had, especially with so many people being at AT&T Stadium yesterday. For our kids to walk onto that court and see a packed house, I thought was terrific. Want to also thank Coach Tang, his staff, his players for greeting our guys. We were at the end of the tunnel when they were going into the locker room at halftime, and every one of those coaches and those players of the basketball team were genuinely excited for our guys, high-fiving, hugging, and it just goes to show you how important athletics are and the support that each team has for each other. With all our sports here at K-State, it was a pretty cool and special moment for those guys to take that Big 12 trophy out onto the court last night.
We'll next go to Alec Busey. Alec, if you could please identify yourself with your media outlet and before you ask your question.
Hi, Coach. Alec Busey, EMA Online. Coach Saban talked about not knowing exactly who's going to be available and not available with the current nature of opt-outs. Can you explain how that maybe alters your preparation a little bit for a game like this?
It's for all of us, to be honest with you. Coach is right. Nobody knows what's going on, what representation are talking to guys, what will happen. I think that's going to play itself out over the next 3 weeks. And so everybody will know probably by that game week or 10 days before who's going to play. But that's the nature of college football right now. And whether or not a guy is going to go and prepare for the draft and not, risk the injury, those are all personal decisions that everybody has, and we'll take those on our team as they come as well, just like Coach will do with his team. And that's just that's where we're at in college football right now.
We have time for 2 more questions. First one will go to Scott Fritchen. Scott, if you could please let us know what media outlet you're from.
Yeah, Scott Fritchen, K-State Athletics. Coach, I was just curious if you could maybe walk us through the last 24 hours. I know it's been probably pretty interesting for you.
Yeah, we got back and went to the basketball game. And once I left there, I came home and visited with my wife for a little bit and crashed and burned as fast as I could. And got up this morning and we had a lot of meetings with our current staff, just kind of planning out the next week because we're on the road out recruiting, and we got official visits next weekend and a little bit of practice, and just planning out the whole month of December, really leading up to the Sugar Bowl. So it's been I don't know, somehow it's 4:18 here Central Time, and it's been a busy day, but a good day, a day that we're excited about. Didn't see any of the announcements of the top four. I kind of knew who the four were going to be. Didn't see all the stuff with bowl announcements. Matt, we were in meetings literally most of the morning and afternoon. So, but we kind of knew what the plan was.
Ted Lewis, do you have a follow-up question?
Coach, I don't know if you realize it, but if the expanded playoffs were in effect, you'd be getting a first round bye right now. What do you think about the expansion of the playoffs, especially for a school like Kansas State that might not be considered in the hunt for a conference championship every year?
Well, did we lose Coach? Coach, you might have frozen up.
I think we're frozen.
We might have frozen. That was our last question. We're going to wrap up the call on that note. Once again, thank you to all the media for joining us today. Most information for the media. What? Hold on, we got Coach coming back. Did you hear the last question, Coach?
No, I got cut off.
Ted, are you still online? Ted was asking if this was a 12-team playoff, you would have had a first round bye into the playoff. How do you feel about the expanded playoff coming, and what does that all mean to you?
When it happens, it happens. It didn't happen this year, so really don't have an opinion or have a comment on it.
Thank you very much. And thank you for taking the time this afternoon, Coach. We know you got a million things going on. We look forward to seeing you in New Orleans in a couple of weeks.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, everyone.
Thank you very much. And once again, for the media, most information that you would need to cover the Sugar Bowl is available at allstatesugarbowl.org. However, you can also reach out to me at any time. My name is John Sudsbury. I'm the Director of Communications. My email is john.s@sugarbowl.org. My cell phone is 504-427-7076. All of us here at the Sugar Bowl are here to help you out. Make sure you have a good experience here and everything goes well. So we look forward to seeing people in a couple of weeks down here in New Orleans. Thank you.